Personally, I don't think I've seen so many eating challenges in a single video game franchise. I really can't think of one. I wonder if In-N-Out will make this for me if I go ask them. It's supposed to be like dieting and stuff. Big Bang Burger Cosmic Tower Challenge Persona 5. I don't have a Persona shirt. If somebody wants to send me one, links down below for P.O. Box. So we do have to make our own bun for this, and for this I'm going to be using the King Arthur's Beautiful Burger Bun recipe since I'm using their flour. We're going to be using 420 grams worth of all-purpose flour, 5 grams worth of kosher salt, 50 grams worth of sugar, followed by 1 tablespoon worth of yeast, or about 12 grams. We also just need 1 whole egg for some dairy, just go ahead and crack that straight in there, and then 30 grams worth of room temperature softened butter. I just kind of like to break mine up a little bit just to help it along. Now we're also going to be adding in 185 grams worth of lukewarm sink water. You don't have to heat this up at all, just make sure it's lukewarm. Place this into your mixer and we're gonna mix this for about 3 to 4 minutes until it starts to get shaggy. At this point, I do have to stop my mixer in particular and start bringing some of that dough together from the bottom because some of it wasn't quite incorporating well enough, and that probably has a lot to do with my mixer rather than anything else, but just bring this back together by hand if you need to. Crank this thing back on at medium speed for another 3 to 4 minutes until you start getting this really beautiful shiny dough. Once the dough has started to hit the bowl and kind of slap around a little bit, check the dough for its gluten content. If this pulls apart pretty easily, hook this thing back up for another 2 to 3 minutes until it comes together really nicely. You want to be able to handle the dough without it sticking to your fingers too much, and this will mean that everything is really nice and hydrated. It doesn't break when you pull it apart, and this guy is ready. Now before we let it rest, I do like to somewhat roll this into a bowl with my cutting boards that move way too often when I work with bread. Get a little bit of oil back into your bowl that you were using to mix with, just so you don't have to clean another one, let's be honest. Pop your dough back into your bowl, and we're going to cover this and let it rest for about 60 to 90 minutes or until it's doubled in size. Once it has doubled in size or that time has elapsed, you do want to make sure it's doubled in size though, you're going to have this really beautiful plump boy. We're going to dump this onto a lightly floured surface and we're going to go ahead and hand shape this because it's going to be such a big burger bun. You don't really need to do anything too special with it. We shaped this until it was about 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick, and then I actually grabbed a pizza paddle. Yes, I purchased this after that Aldini pizza video, so that way I could move the dough over to a flour and parchment lined baking sheet and totally missed. How did you miss? Once you readjust your dough to kind of be more or less in the center, brush this with some melted butter. This is going to give it a really nice glaze, and it's also going to protect the dough while it bakes. And since this is a burger bun, we are going to hit this with some sesame seed. Just go ahead and sprinkle quite a bit on top so you get some nice coverage on that bread. Now we got to cover this to let it rest again, but probably not with that. That's not going to work, dude. Grab yourself a bowl and then drape this with towels just to trap in some of that moisture and some of that heat. After letting this rest for about another hour, we have our beautiful plump boy. Yes, I was working out. Now take this guy and we're going to bake this at 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. After those 30 to 40 minutes, what we want to do is remove this from the oven and temperature check this. This is super important because it's so big, but you want to make sure the temperature reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that all of the gluten has cooked and everything is ready to go. Now we do have to let this cool down completely, and for that we're going to be using a wire rack. You do want to make sure this is cooled down, otherwise when you cut it, you're going to have a bad time. Now, since this is going to be a simple burger, we're going to be using tomatoes, pickles, and a little bit of butter lettuce. Now for the tomatoes, just make sure you remove a little bit of that stem that's left over, so that way when we slice them, we're not really fighting that in our teeth. Now for the tomatoes, I do like mine somewhat of a thicker slice just because I like my tomatoes thick, but cut these however you want. You just want to make sure that you have them all evenly sliced. Once you have all of your tomatoes sliced, all we're going to do is pop this into a container because we have a lot more prep to get through before we actually start cooking off these burgers. Now for the pickles, I do like slicing mine long so that way they kind of have a little bit more coverage without them really having the chance of falling out of the burger. That's just personal preference, and if you don't want to cut your own pickles, I'm cheap, so I bought whole pickles so I could slice them. They were a little bit cheaper than buying sliced. Feel free to buy whatever pickles you want for this. I really like just regular old kosher dill pickles because they have a little bit of a tanginess to them that I really like with my burgers. Now I'm using butter lettuce for this because I'll be honest, it looked really good at the store, but feel free to use iceberg instead. After removing the stem and giving these a good rinse, we're actually going to have to soak this lettuce because it can be really dirty. Fill your container with water and let this soak for just about 4 or 5 minutes. Give it a little bit of a massage. Be gentle with butter lettuce, it does rip very easily. After soaking them, we're going to go ahead and remove them and place them into a colander so that way these can drain completely because no one wants wet lettuce in their burger. You're just going to get everything weird and soggy and whatever the case is. So just make sure you drain these really well and set them to the side for now. Okay, burger time. I'm using this really beautiful Costco style organic ground beef. I swear by this stuff and it's phenomenal. This comes out to about 3 pounds worth of burger. After getting your burger out of the containers and trying to struggle with this child-proof packaging, who designed this? Grab your knife, cut this sucker open, and just get your burger meat into your bowl. Stop fighting with this. Now that we have all of the beef in your bowl, we're gonna season this just a little bit. We're gonna start off with 2 teaspoons worth of granulated garlic, and then about a half a teaspoon worth, Paul, half a teaspoon. Why do you even use a spoon to measure this? That was paprika. And then a little sprinkle of cayenne. I like to finish mine with a good helping of black pepper, and that's just personal preference. I love black pepper on my burgers. We're also gonna add 1 tablespoon worth of olive oil, and then we're gonna start bringing this together by hand. I like to mix this until all of those spices are no longer visible, and then a little bit longer, so that way we don't have any weird pockets of spices later on. Throw a lid on this, and we're gonna let this rest for about 30 to 40 minutes, just so everything can party a little bit and have a good time. Now, after letting it party, we're gonna measure these out into 7-ounce portions. Yes, because we need 6 patties, this is what we're going to need to measure these out to because of the 3 or so pounds of meat that we have. After getting all of these measured out, we need to actually make these into hamburger patties. This is going to be weird. Just follow me along. Take your patties and place them in between 2 pieces of parchment paper and then start rolling this out to be pretty thin because we need these pretty large to kind of fit our bun. Once you have these rolled out to this really nice, I call it the In-N-Out thickness, we're going to place this on a sheet tray and then proceed to do the rest of our hamburger patties the same exact way. Remember, we're doing 6 of these, and all of these bad boys have to be very, very large and ready to go. We just have to cut the bun and then we can actually start cooking off our burger. You kind of want to cut this like a cake in a way, but you just want to make sure you have 2 even-ish pieces. And I also found that most of my sesame seeds just didn't stick at all, so I just kind of dumped them in the middle, and it's fine. It's going to be okay. Now dramatically throw in a little dab of butter that's very underwhelmingly done, and we're going to toast our bun, and this is not going to work. This bun is too freaking big. So instead, we're going to put it in our little toaster oven right over there for about 10 minutes to get nice and toasty. Now we're going to go with the standard. A little bit of ketchup spread right onto the bottom of that bun to start, and then we're going to hit this with a decent amount of mustard. Yes, the yellow mustard. I like yellow mustard on this. Put whatever mustard you want on it. I don't care. I also like mayonnaise on my burgers, so we're using some of the cutie pie mayo, and then we're going to hit this with our lettuce first. Remember, you want a layer of lettuce to protect everything, and then followed by a layer of tomato, and then finally, we're going to add some pickles on this. And for the pickles, I'm kind of spreading them out in a way that I think I'm going to eat this later, so it looks like this. Okay, it is time to cook our burgers, and we're going to have to use a saute pan for this because this is the biggest vessel I really have. Make sure you season your burgers with salt because we didn't add salt to that mix, and then drop this in your smoking hot pan with a little bit of butter. Just make sure it doesn't fold over itself or do anything weird, and look at this shrinkage. This shrinkage is very important for what's going to happen later. Now, I do have to just do a little bit of a flip on these just because I don't really have a way of flipping it, and immediately throw your cheddar cheese on there. Sorry guys, I gotta move you out of the way so we can get this burger down on this bun. Now, after trying to place the burger down on the bun, I realized it shrank a lot. Like a lot. So, we're gonna have to fix this. We're gonna do a little bit of tucking and a little bit of chef magic, and we're just gonna go ahead and just cut this. It's fine. Nobody has to know. You couldn't tell from the thumbnail. Nobody will be the wiser. Go ahead and layer more lettuce and tomato and pickle on top. Start firing off more of your burgers because this does have to happen quickly because the other burger is going to get cold. Yes, this is the problem with cooking food this big. Continue layering your burgers with your tomatoes and your lettuce, and this is what it looks like before the final burger is placed on here. Yes, there's one more layer. Immediately wipe down all of the grease that is now everywhere in the kitchen. This is going to be such a pain to clean. And then we're going to add one more layer of lettuce, tomato, and pickles to this monstrosity. And we're going to go ahead and trim the other piece of the bun, and I ended up keeping the other piece for snacks because it was that good. Go ahead and layer on all of your sauces on top of this bun, the same as we did before. Throw this bun on top of your monster tower. And here it is, guys, the Big Bang Challenge, the final challenge, the Cosmic Tower Burger. It's just ridiculous. I honestly don't know how am I even supposed to show this to you guys. There it is, guys, the Cosmic Tower Burger from Persona 5. Why would I make that? Why do they have this challenge? I'm honestly not quite sure how to approach this. It's too heavy to pick up. Actually, oh my god, the bread got soaked from waiting so long. Oh god, no. We have to try this somehow. So to make this happen, I ended up putting in a couple of skewers into this, 6 in particular, so that way we can cut this into 6 even pieces and it wouldn't fall apart. I started by cutting this in half and then cutting it into 6 after that, and we have this really, really beautiful burger. What the Dude, look at this. What the hell? I don't know about you guys, but I can say nailed it. How do I still? I think I have to put this on a plate. There it is. Well, now at least I can try this after spending all day making it. But the problem is there's no like center bun. So I literally just have to like hold the meat. Cheers. I mean, that's delicious. That ground beef from, I will say it, from Costco, super good. Then you have the Tillamook cheddar. The bread is really tender, super, super nice, but everything is just a really good burger. Matt Stoney, if you're watching, hit me up. I'll make one for you. My name is Chef PK. Get subscribed, and remember, keep playing with your food. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this. This is so much food. This is ridiculous. No.